Failure, ladies and gentlemen, is what you make of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mully Podcast, and I'm your host, DC, on the MIC. I'm going to introduce you to a new solo project, a solo series. In each episode, I'm going to tackle different topics, such as fear, acceptance, anxiety, and whatever the hell else I can think of. Well, anyway, grab a drink, your choice, whiskey, beer, wine, or even a cup of tea. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Oh, hello. You startled me. I wasn't expecting anyone this evening. But, since you're here, come on in. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Mully Podcast. What I am going to be doing is some solo projects, some solo series. So in between the guest episodes, I'm going to have some episodes, and I want to tackle, some real topics. Fear, acceptance, anxiety, mental health, Asian drivers. Oh boy. But welcome back, and thanks for having me in your headsets or on your screens, whether you're watching it on YouTube. If you are, subscribe and like, please. And if you're watching me on or listening to me on any of the podcasts, please tell your friends and family. Much appreciated. So today I want to talk about fear. All right. So don't mind the ghetto notepad that I have, but let's just kind of roll into it, right? So what exactly is fear? So if you look it up in the dictionary, fear is an unpleasant feeling triggered by the perception of danger, real or imagined. Okay, and then you have phobias, right? So what a phobia is an irrational fear of something. So can you think of that? That's going to be like arachnophobia with spiders, or mullophobia, the fear of mullets. Absolutely ridiculous. I know. Hey, but it's out there. And then you have anxiety, right? And that's going to be a progression of fear. And that's a feeling of worry, nervousness, unease, typically about an event or something like with an uncertain outcome. They just freak out about, and it's the brain can trigger it. And then you have underlying anxiety as well, where it's you may hear something or feel something, and then it triggers an anxiety attack. And I think that all of us can relate to these kind of topics, right? Whether it's fear, phobia, anxiety. Now let's kind of tackle some fears, like child fears versus adult fears. So, for instance, a child fear could be monsters, right? They're afraid to go to bed at night because there's a monster in their closet, there's a monster under their bed. Or the dark, having bad dreams, or maybe a tween or teenager failing an exam, right? Going to a new school. So those are examples of childhood fears. And then we have adult fears, right? Failure, unfulfilled dreams, not providing for your family, your children. Are you going to make it to work on time? When you're meeting someone for a first date, are they going to like me, right? Those are like adult fears. And it has about some fears that we have both for adults and children. Can any of you think of that? I'll give you one, especially out here in Hawaii. Flying cockroaches. Hate them. It's always in the middle of the night too, right? You're laying down in bed. Then all you hear is this. And you're like, holy shit. Is that an alien? What is that? flip on the light and then you just catch the tail and it flies on the other wall. Ugh, hate that. That is disgusting. That's a fear. What about roller coasters, right? I think adults and children are afraid of roller coasters or bungee jumping. If you're going to a new place, that's a fear they've been in. Death, ultimately death, right? That's something that adults and children fear. But what I want to really focus on is the fear that adults face, and maybe even make it more specific, and that's going to be like maybe career-wise. The fear of failure, right? So rolling into that, right? So adults have fears, right? Fear of trying new things, maybe starting a new job or leaving a new job. A really close friend of mine took the leap of faith and left a job of 10 years, right? Someone in leadership left, done, leaving it, starting his own thing. Like that's a huge step, right? And I can only imagine the amount of fear that might have been going on, in his head. I'm making a career change as well in the next few weeks. I'll be doing something new. A little fearful. There's some new things, and maybe some fears of becoming an entrepreneur. People might have that. I think the ultimate thing that really stops people though is they focus on the outcome. They're so focused on the outcome, but not the process to get there, right? And we should love the process, right? Embrace that process, because the process is the journey. That's really what is all the lessons and then the most valuable insight that you're going to get is from that journey and from that process. That's what's going to make you a better person. Take you to another level in character. You're going to break through walls. You're going to have breakthroughs. You might get punched in the face and you sit flat on your ass, but it's a great learning experience. And I think that we need to embrace that. And so what causes that fear? That fear of worrying. And I think what it is that failure of not succeeding, right? But what is success? Now let's roll into what is success. So the dictionary also describes that as attaining wealth, prosperity, and or fame. So that's success. Okay. How's about no? Maybe someone that's homeless, what success is? Getting meal for the day or finding shelter in the rain, right? It's not about fame or fortune. But it's an illusion. Success is an illusion that's brought on by society and culture and what influences tells us, right? When you're on Instagram or you're on social media, just in general, everyone is running this pretend life where everyone is so happy and all they're showing is their success, but you don't ever get to see the work that they put in to get there. Yes, they're happy and they're not trying to brag. They're just showing where they are. Some people maybe are, but I don't think most people are not. But you never got to see the grind and the work that really went to get to that point, right? The process, right? The process. So true success, it cannot be measured. It just can't. There's no way to measure what success is because every single person has a different perception of success. And that's another big thing, right? Is what we perceive is what our reality is. So let's go into rolling into now, right? So it's fear led by success. So obviously the big part is the failure part, right? So what is failure? Is it the fear portion? Like failure is not getting to where you're supposed to be, but during that process, you're going to learn so much that there really isn't failure, right? So are you overthinking it? I think, yeah. I think a lot of people are extremely overthinking it. But there might be some things that happen to them maybe in their past that's causing this, right? Where they undermined as children, by their parents per se. Anytime they wanted to try something new, no, you can't do it. You're not going to be able to do it. No, maybe the short kid. Hey, I want to play basketball. No, no, don't even attempt, right? Or no, we don't. I'm just being real. You're not going to be able to do it, or whatever it may be. Um, or maybe when they were children, when they tried something, join a sports team, they were humiliated, or even for anything, any instance. You guys remember how it was in elementary? I don't know if you do, but I do. I went through a lot of humiliation. There was a lot of insecurities growing up, and but those insecurities have pushed me through. I think to become where I am now. I hated talking in front of people. Now I embrace it. I love it. I'm a peacock. I'm a peacock. I just want to fly, right? um, and that's the thing is you have to go through these things in order to become that next level. But fear is what holds us back. Um, Now, when we say fear is holding us back, and I want to really touch into that part of purpose. Like, what is your purpose here on earth? So, is your purpose to wake up, go to work, and in this job that 90% of people hate? Well, why don't you just take the leap of faith and do your passion? I took the leap of faith to do this, and I'll be real. Even though I launched the podcast after 2 years of talking about it, and finally doing it after 5 episodes, I ended up putting it on hold. And a lot of it stemmed because of insecurities of the video quality, right? I invested a lot of money to get the audio quality great, but the video quality just wasn't there. I was just using a webcam, and I wanted multi-cam angles and all these things. But really, is that why people are watching or listening? Not really. It's the content, right? It's what you're getting out of it. Are they entertained? Are we talking about topics that make sense? And I think that the fear of my production put my whole show on hold. And so now we're going to break through that fear, and we're going to keep on going regardless who listens or watches it, because it's a passion project, right? And that's where it's going to come into. So is your passion, number one, because I'm going to, anyone listening to this, I'm going to challenge you to go out there and pursue your passion, right? You're going to do it. Not what ifs. This is it. Effective right now, listening to this, you are going to go out there and get it done. As long as it's moral, right? And it's not going to hurt nobody. Now, if your passion is, or you want to go out and rob a bank or go out and hurt people, then obviously no. Okay, number one, is it moral? Okay, if it's moral, then do it. Okay, do it. But a big thing is, do you have supporting cast members, right? So is your family supportive of you making this? Maybe it's a career change. Maybe it's a passion project, something on the side. Is your family supportive? Because that's a huge thing, right? If you don't have a supporting cast, then it's only going to make it harder. And that's the next thing is, are you willing to cut people out? So sometimes your friends are your worst critics because they see you and they know you. They know your past. They know who you were. But when you try to break that and become someone else, then they don't see that. They can't see past who you were. But are you the same person that you were yesterday? No. Right? We're ever evolving. So there's two things that we can do. We either go backwards, we can self-pity, or we can move forward and focus on becoming better. And that's the thing. Sometimes the people around you are going to hold you back. Okay? Food for thought. Now, are you willing to sacrifice and give up things for your dream or your passion? Because I started doing some other side gigs and I wasn't willing to sacrifice for those because my heart wasn't in it. And so bye-bye, those things are gone, right? So, and what now? Can you compromise certain things and aspects in your life and still have a passion project? So giving up certain things, right? So whether it's playing video games. I'm not going to say give up the gym because I think that's something that's very necessary. But maybe you're an overdoer there, right? Maybe you're one of those people that go 2 times a day when you don't need to, just because that's your comfort zone. Well, maybe cut back and focus on that dream that you want to do. Whether it's I want to use gaming because a lot of people game, or Netflix, watching TV, right? Can you not give up an hour of that or sacrifice an hour for something that you say that you have all this passion for? I don't know, right? So those are the questions that you need to ask yourself. Um, and failure is what you make of it. So back in episode 1, we had Ian Chef as our guest, and he said that not even trying, like, so he said, who cares if you fail? Like, at least you tried. That's what it was. Is it who cares if you fail because at least you tried? And if you're not even willing to try, then that's what failure is. Failure is not even trying. I want you to think about that and embrace that, because half the time people fail because of the fear that is holding them back. Right? Failure, ladies and gentlemen, is what you make of it. Think of it as a learning experience. Embrace the process. Love the process. And go out and get it done. That's it. That's all I got for you guys. Short and sweet and to the point. Don't fear the reaper. Fear is what you make of it. Don't fear fear. Embrace it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the show. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you around.